We are live from the Empowered Mom Studios. And the question today that came up in the breakout sessions in my really super awesome program, and I would call mastermind, and just best community ever with my wonderful friends, was how much do you really give away for free or little cost? Because there's always this fear when you're starting out as a coach, or even when you are seeing someone new, or even when you're just out there as a friend or doing your thing just out in the world. It's like, how much do I really show them of who I am before I get the buy-in? Because that's the thing. It's like, you're like, if I give this, they're not going to actually give me what I need. Like, I'm not going to get paid, or they're not going to pay me well, or they're going to devalue me in some way. And I'm just going to say there are two types of people in the world. There are the light stealers and wing clippers who will absolutely try to make you feel bad for holding anything to yourself. And they will absolutely try to get that thing through manipulative, nasty little tactics to get you to think that either you're not good enough, or they will love bomb you until you think, oh, they love me, I'm going to give more. But they never, ever give back. The takers of the world. You are a pillar of light, and you shine so brightly. And that light does attract darkness. And you do have to protect your light. I'm not saying that you don't. But what I am saying is that you can't also keep that light to yourself. If you keep that light to yourself, the darkness wins. So one of my tactics, I learned this from my mentor and friend, Eben Pagan, about moving the free line. And it's just incredible, because he puts everything out into his content. He puts everything out into his lower level programs and his higher level programs. And the thing is, it's not about what he teaches. It's about who he is. And same thing with Annie. Annie puts her magic out. I love her Instagram. I love that she puts it on her blog. I can't wait for her book, and it's coming. It's coming. It's already done as far as I'm concerned. I've got a space on my bookshelf waiting for that book, but she puts her magic out into the world and she gives it out. And that just makes people want to be with her in more connection. Because when you see that, when you see people who are just generously giving, there are the ones that are like thinking to take advantage, but that's where your boundaries come in. That's where your value of yourself comes in. So, how much do you give away? You give away all of your genius. You give away all of your steps. You give away, I mean, if you want to be coached by me, but you can't afford to work with me, you can do the work yourself in this book. Like, it actually is all there. Like, my entire process is all there. And even if you don't get the book, I recently recorded 2 trainings, one on fear traps and one on getting the natural birth experience and understanding what's really going on. Like, I taught pieces of my book, and it's on YouTube, and anybody can watch it. I want this thing to go viral. Like, I really, really want this to go viral. And I know it will take a while, because everything takes some time, but then the exponential growth I know is going to happen. Once people know it's out there, they're going to flock to it, because I'm already putting it out there. I'm not keeping it hidden. It's not hidden behind anything. My whole thing, it's like, I will put out my magic, and I put it out in bits and pieces, and I put it out in deeper dives, and I will put it out in a book, and anybody can get that. And the reason I did that is quite simple. I love, love, love to serve people, and I love them so much. And it hurts my heart that this has been going on for so long. And it hurts my heart that so many moms who came to me after they were already traumatized, and even women in their 80s that I talked to in 70s, and they say, I wish you had been around when I was having my babies, or I wish you'd been around when I was in a toxic relationship. I wish you had been around when I was trying to start my business, because I didn't start for so many years. And I'm like, yeah, I love you. I absolutely love you. And I've also learned about light stealers and wing clippers. That was one of my toughest lessons. When I was a little girl, I was starved for love and adoration. Absolutely starved for it. I went my entire childhood going into school, and none of the kids wanted to play with me. Not one. They did. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a lesson. Maybe it's something that I needed in order to recognize just how lonely it is to be the only kid in your entire school that everybody calls the weird kid. So I was the weird kid. I was the one that the new kids would come in and the other kids would be like, if you want to be hanging out with us, you can't hang out with her. I was the joke of the school. I was really, really short for my age. And I don't mean short and a little bit short. I mean that when all the other kids were in grade 5, I was the size of a kindergartner. I'm talking in high school, and I don't normally share this, but I'm going to share this for any woman out there who has a little girl who might be feeling like a late bloomer and might feel really self-conscious about her body, or even a little boy who's really, really skinny and doesn't have a lot of muscle on him and he's feeling self-conscious. I just need to share this. When I was a young teenager of about 13 and 14, I was flat as a board. But you wouldn't be able to tell from my pictures because I had my grandmother actually go to the store and get a training bra and sew cotton into them. And she said, what God's forgotten, we fill with cotton. And I wore that until I finally hit puberty in 10th grade. And after that, like, I didn't need that anymore. But that is how self-conscious I was. Going into high school, and there was times where I was like, I can't even wear a bathing suit until I can sew something into that. I need to sew some padding into that because, like, I just look like a kid. But even then, my graduation photos, I look like a kid, albeit a kid that's probably in middle school who's kind of developed, but still a kid. I look very young for my age. Some people know how old I am and others kind of guess. And I have this playful thing where it's like, I like to find out. It's like, how old are you? And I'm like, can you guess? And then they never get it right. In fact, one of the Uber drivers, when he picked me up to go to Austin back in September, he said, I thought you were in high school taking your cousins across the street. It feels great now to hear that, being like the fact that I'm a mom and I've got kids that are, one's going into middle school. But at the same time, when I was little, when I was young, and I was like just barely out of high school, didn't feel so great. And I had to constantly say to myself, I hope one day I actually grow up a little bit. But that's the thing, is that self-conscious feeling of never being good enough, just as I was, and not valuing myself just as I was, and thinking that it had to be something external on the outside of me to bring that value, has me with this deep love for people, because I can see the lost person inside of them, the one that's like, doesn't feel loved, doesn't feel cared for. But in those, I've also found that there's some people that you just love them and love them and love them, but they're just looking for what they can get from the world because they are just so broken. And then they take and take and take, and might even sleep with your partner who you've had children with and get pregnant. I mean, this woman was a friend that I had seen. Like, I could see she was having such a hard time, and I loved on her and I gave her everything. And that's what I got back. So yes, there are going to be people out there that are going to see your free stuff and they're going to ask for more from you. And that's where valuing yourself comes in. It's like, yeah, they can have my free information. That's why I put it out there. So it was like, as soon as I realized that there were people that would absolutely get on a call with me and they were not the right people, they had no intention of working with me other than to just see how much they could get for free. And they were also the most draining people to do that with me. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I could be serving somebody else right now who is actually going to take what I'm telling them and value it and treasure the gifts that I'm giving them of this time, and that they're going to go beyond. But this one is just looking to whine and bitch and complain. And I am not into whine and bitch and complain. I am into action. I am into inspiration. I am into getting people out of that darkness and moving towards the light. So if you're going to stay in the darkness and you're going to continue to throw darkness at people, and you're not going to see the beauty and the love that's shining through, well, you have to protect your light, especially now, especially in a time when there's just so much greed and there's so much like darkness in the world. You have to protect your light. But you also, if you hide it, the ones who need it most and need to climb out of that darkness are not going to be able to find you. So the reason I even got into the community in the first place is because they had a free event where they shone so much light. And I'm like, this information is great, but I want to be in connection with these people. And I was just taking action towards everything because it's not the information I was after. I could go and get that information and walk away and do my own thing. But it's like when you see those people in your life, it's like, I just want to be around you. I just want to be around you. I want to be in your light. And I also want to give back to you because I love you. I'm not looking to just take from you and take advantage. I actually love you and I will give more to be in connection with you. So I do this even with my clients. Even though they're coming to me for one thing, which is helping with their birth plan or helping to get started in their work so that they can get out of a toxic abusive relationship and be able to do it safely and be free so that when they leave, they're not trying to pick up the pieces for years and years to come, like what I did, which is like, I was scared for a very long time. I'm like, I don't know if I could do this, but because I found my community and I saw the action steps, I was able to do it. So of course I'm going to pay that forward. But at the same time, if you're going to do that, you've got to give back. So I give back by loving on them even more. Because like, you're working with me. I'm going to love you. You're working with me. I'm going to push you towards your dreams. You're my friend. Of course I'm going to love you. And I'm going to push you a little bit. And I'm going to challenge you a little bit. And I'm going to get you further because I can see that vision. But if you're going to wear a mask with me and you're going to try to take that like light from me, well, now I love myself so much that it doesn't work anymore. Whereas in the past, it did. It did. That's why I was in that situation for 13 years. It's because I didn't want to see that it was a mask that was being put on just to get more from me. And then when the mask would fall off, I'd be like, well, I don't feel valued. I don't feel special. But I'm like, no, you know what? You've taken that mask off and I see you. And I am special. And I do have value. And maybe I'm not willing to give you everything right now, but that's okay because this is what I can give. And if that's not good enough for you, well, I'm sorry. That's what I can give in that moment. I can't give anymore. I'm teaching this to my kids too, where I'll say, honey, I understand that you need more right now, and I want to give it to you, but I just don't have that ability to do that right now. And maybe I'll change my mind, or maybe I'll make like some sort of change in how I'm going to approach it, or I'll create a structure to make it more likely that I can give that. But until I can do that, this is what I can give. And I love you. And I give that love. So when you are going into the higher levels, and this is part of the lesson, you can give more for free. You don't give everything for free at the start, but you do put enough out there. You shine that light so that people can see it and be attracted to it. Because if you keep everything behind the closed doors, they'll never see it. And I had that lesson even when I was writing my fan fiction stories. Like I would write, I'd have these beautiful stories and they were all on paper, and I would write them during class when I probably should have been working, but it was boring and math was not my strong suit and I was bored. So I would just write. I wouldn't always listen to the teacher because what they were teaching was just something I just wasn't into. It wasn't lighting me up. But I would get inspiration from some things and then I'd write a story. But I never shared those stories with anyone until some of my friends was like, "What are you always writing?" And they read it and they're like, "This is amazing. You should be putting this out there." And one of my best friends, Amanda, I'm calling you out, wrote, like, she created a blog for me to put my stories, and I still didn't use it because I didn't want to have my name attached. But after high school, I started writing fan fiction and I started getting the reviews and people telling me, it's like, this is the most amazing thing. Like, this is so beautiful. Like, you never ever stop writing. And then I had the other one when I'd take it to creative writing classes and I'd get it torn apart. But when you have those people who truly do value what you have, it doesn't matter what the rest of the world says. So put out that light because your people will be attracted to it. And the ones you want to attract are the ones that are like, this is amazing. I love you. I want to give back to you, because it already feels like there's an imbalance of power here with you giving all of this and I don't have much to give you. And then you say to those people, it's like, you know what? Just share my stuff. If you really can't afford to work with me, share my stuff. And maybe they'll save up and they'll work with you. Or maybe they'll find some other way to contribute in the future. They'll do something that then they can come back in and they can give you more value. But the fact is that the love is always there. That's where you need to focus. You need to focus here. You need to focus and say, what is the biggest impact that I want to make with my stuff? Not how much money am I going to get from this? I am looking at impact. This book is part of my impact. So I have my high level coaching package and I have my programs and I have what I want to build. But at this point, I've got it built. I know what I offer. I know the transformation. Now I'm just creating the little bits that are coming and floating out into the world. And I don't care where they go at all. I love that people are sharing them now. I'm seeing people sharing them. I love that people are loving that content and then they come in deeper. So I'm going to tell you, there is no such thing as giving too much information for free. It's the connection that you want to protect. You want to protect your heart. You want to protect your light. You want to protect your energy. You need to be giving that energy to the people who are going to be willing to give back and to spread your light out there and spread their own out there. And you want to also have that little bit of a barrier so that anybody who's just looking to take but not looking to give is not going to get in that space because they're not willing to give. They're not willing to actually give back. And you can see that. You can see that when you set a boundary with them and you say, this is what I can give you for this amount that you're giving me. No, I'm not going to give you any more than that. I love you. And here, if you need more, there's all my free stuff out there. Go check that out. Or go ask somebody else. I I am at this level and I am not able to do that, or I don't have the time to do that thing that you want me to do. But you can go out there and you can go find it somewhere else, but you can't find it with me. I'm not able to do that. This is the level you need to be at in order to work with me. And if you can't do that, you can rise to that level or you can go out there. But if you love me, well, guess what? You're going to rise to that level because you want to stay in connection with me. You're going to keep rising and you're not going to try to diminish my light and clip my wings and try to make me feel small, because it's not going to work anymore. It's just not. And my kids are learning that too. It's like, mom is boss. Like, you can absolutely, little girl, you can tell me I'm a bad mommy. You can yell at me, you can swear at me, and you can get all pissed off that I'm not going to do your hair up for you right now when I'm in the middle of class. I'm just not going to do that. But if you are recognizing mommy's energy, recognizing that I love you anyway, then maybe, just maybe, I might find a way to make it work. I might. But not while you're yelling at me and not while you're being mean to me. Because I've now learned that when people are yelling and trying to hurt you, that's not love. That's not love. You don't hurt the people you love intentionally to get what you want. You might do it unintentionally, in which case you can repair, but you don't hurt people intentionally. And the people that are like, how dare you sell? They're not your people. If they're outraged by the fact that you're making an offer for them to work deeper with you, they're not your people. You don't have to worry about them. If somebody misunderstands you and misunderstands your love, that's their work to do. That's not your work to do. So shine your light. Just get out there and shine it, because you will be so glad you did. You will get people flocking to you suddenly that are like, oh my gosh, I've been following your stuff and you have changed my life. And you've only given a tiny little bit of light, but it's changed their life. And then you start to see more of your value and more of your worth, and you can create more things into the world, and you get more inspiration, and you find out more about what their pain points are, that you can help them. I'm a problem solver. I find things that people struggle with, and I find where their hearts are hurting, and I go out there and I just shine it. So for all of my friends and soul family who are watching, and all my supporters who I love so much, and for you, I just want to say, whether you are in that group or you've just found me on Facebook randomly, the key to anything is what one of my friends in the community said, Don. He's like, it's love. Carly's emulating love right now. He pointed it out and like, you get me. So I'm giving a shout out to Don, one of my soul grandpas. It's awesome. And you know, it's just, everybody can be your family if they really see you. It's not just about blood. So I'm gonna just tell you that your family of swans are out there, your people are out there, and the people that you're meant to serve are out there, and they're waiting to find your light. So you got to shine it. And you've also got to love yourself enough to recognize that you've got a boundary, and that more connection with you means more action taken to show that they're serious and not just looking to get whatever they're trying to get. And hey, buddy, Hunter's sick today. You want to say hi? Hello. Oh, they can't really see you. Here you go. There, you wave. Hello. Yeah, my poor little boy's sick. Okay. I got to go and take care of him. But I love you so much. Go shine your light.